Welcome back, Rems Gems podcast, episode 2. Joined here today with Reed and Tom Remillard, the three legs of the tripod. All right, welcome back, episode 2. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Happy to be here.
Yep.
Missed the first show.
Yeah. Reed is the third leg of the trifecta. He missed episode 1, but he will be joining us moving forward. We have 3 very different picking styles, which I think will help our viewers and you guys with some different perspectives. And we talked about myself and my dad's background in the first episode, so we will give Reed an opportunity to kind of share his background and his experience with you guys.
I have the floor?
You have the floor.
All right. So, my background, a little similar to Kyle's here, growing up together, this and that. I will say my gambling career definitely started in 2003 when Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker. When this guy over here to my left, my dad was putting on the poker games for all the high school kids, so me and Kyle would hop in and try to take their money. So after that, pretty much, poker turned into mini golf and the Mario baseball video games and a combination of things. Sorry to make you guys laugh, but yeah, that's pretty much what brought me to Las Vegas. Found myself working at the Golden Nugget pool, which was not my first destination, but I definitely didn't hate it. Definitely had Kyle there a few times.
It was fun. Definitely fun.
Yeah.
And, well, tell them about the pool, because when you told me you were a pool boy, when I went there, I was quite surprised to see the setup.
I don't think everyone knows about the Golden Nugget pool, and it's infamous for downtown Las Vegas.
But when I say that around here, everyone thinks it's a strip club. When I say that, but yeah. So the Golden Nugget downtown, I accepted a job. It was the first job I was offered at the Golden Nugget pool. Kind of walk in. There's a $30 million shark tank with 5 different styles of shark in there. Mm-hmm. So that was crazy in its own. And then you kind of go to the second floor. There was a 21-year-old. When I first started working there's actually a topless part with like 5 different chairs where ladies would be topless. So that was a good jump from a little town in New Hampshire to Nevada. But from there, so yeah, there was 2 bars. The 21 or older pool, so we would do $75,000, $100,000 in revenue a day. Mm-hmm. Absolute craziness.
Yeah, it was wild. They had I remember they have table games like in the pool. So you want to play blackjack or one of those table games, you could be in the pool and like gambling, and that's wild to me. That it's a different world.
And you were running the show, right?
Well, I was the assistant manager. Right. Yeah, the manager actually was from Derry. When I applied, he was from Derry, New Hampshire. Went to UNLV out there, offered me the job, and then there I was. Did that for a summer, 110-degree weather, this and that. So I was like, I got to try to get inside. The goal when you work outside at a pool is to try to get into the casino. That's what everyone talks about. So I met the sportsbook director, Tony Miller. He's a great guy. And he offered me a position. So I was a sportsbook writer for about 4 months, and then got promoted to supervisor. I do have to say, as a writer, it was crazy because it's the first job that I ever had when on Tuesdays I would get a little envelope that would have a dollar amount on it, which was the tips that we would all split, and then I would run across the street to Binion's and put in a slot machine or craps or roulette. So
that's
Vegas. That was just Vegas. I was totally different world.
Yeah.
So
in terms of tipping, because I think that's fascinating, a lot of people, you're supposed to tip when you win, especially when you're getting the tickets. Maybe not when you're using the app, not really. No one's doing you a service, but did you find that it was more recreational bettors that would tip more, or professionals who were betting, thousands more per game, but bankroll management might be a little bit more important to them? What did you see?
So I definitely saw more of the, I guess you could say the mom and pop type gamblers that would tip. A lot of the alcohol involved with that.
You're looking at one.
Yeah, maybe one over here in the blue shirt would win a $200 bet and throw me a 20. That was common. I will say the runners, which I think you guys talked about in the first episode that you did, were definitely ridiculed because they would come in at technically wasn't their money, so they would never ever tip. So it was a lot of work to take their bet. Something I'm not sure if you know of. When you bet above $10,000, you have to show your ID. Takes about like 15 minutes to put you in the system to make you called what's a known bettor. If you're unknown, it would. If you're unknown in our system at the Golden Nugget, it would take, like I said, 15, 20 minutes. It was a hassle. So when someone with like Derek Stevens would come in, who was the owner of the D, he would come in and do like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 bets. We would just know he's a known bettor, come in, make his bet, leave. That's it. So
yeah, I had to do that at a couple different casinos when I was placing those big bets, and it was a process. I will say one thing, and I don't know if this is just me as a human, but I knew someone on the other side of the counter. I knew how it worked. I would always tip, and I would tip out of my own money. This isn't, I'm getting, a certain percentage of every bet I place, and I just felt obligated that I had to tip, and that's coming out of my wallet. This guy's making $2,000 a game, and I'm the one tipping the $5 or $10 every time, which I think helped keep me in with these casinos not getting kicked out like a lot of runners do get kicked out. So
yeah. We would constantly have. I can hear Tony right now in the back of my head. He would just be like, "Nope." When someone would walk up to the counter, and I'd be the supervisor in the right. He would see someone like storming in trying to make a bet. Tony would just be like, "Nope," and then he'd just turn around and walk away. So that stuff happens. Betting gets denied all the time. Kind of could lead in a segue into talking about the parlay cards that we were discussing, but people would back when I was working there, we would have parlay cards. So people would come in. I think you're a big fan of parlay cards. Come in, you'd have like 20 different games on there, check off a bunch of different teams, give it to the writer. There was always a lot of liability to the Monday night game. So, bettors would come in, Pats would be playing the Dolphins, say, whatever, like a Monday night game. We'd have such liability to one side, so we eliminated those parlay cards, since I've left.
Yeah, they're definitely a moneymaker for casinos, but also they expose a lot of... You can hit big. All you got to do is hit big. You hit a 10-team parlay, casino's on the hook now going into the final game, and it's going to pay out $50,000. You can just bet $20,000 the other way, and you guaranteed a profit. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But
and especially if you throw in the line moves and this and that, because the line will move from the parlay card that was made on Wednesday to a line that all of a sudden's moved 2 points on a Monday. So there is a lot of that people don't think of, when it comes to booking and this and that.
Yeah.
I try to tip when I make my bet and when I cash the ticket.
Tipping up front is unheard of. If you're going to a restaurant, you're tipping like 40% with what you just said compared to 20%, because what if your bet loses?
I'm all about karma.
I guess I hope it's good karma. Has it worked out for you?
I've cashed a few tickets.
All right. Okay. Well, onto that note, I think that validates, your background for people listening. You have the other side of the counter experience. You know how line moves are, and dealt with a lot of sharp people, and you're almost racing them to the numbers. So I think that validates your experience, and I think maybe people will follow some of your picks. We'll see. I think results speak volumes, and on that note, we will talk about my week 0 college football results from last week. I gave out 2 picks. UNLV laying 24 against Idaho State. Score at halftime 45-7. Easy money. Idaho State, second string quarterback, takes the start in the second half, puts up a touchdown, then he gets hurt. We are on to the third string quarterback now entering the fourth quarter, and we are covering by 7. He throws a touchdown. Suddenly we are tied with 5 minutes left, and 45-21. It was a sweat. My phone was blowing up. But UNLV puts in their third string quarterback, and he found the end zone with 5 minutes left, and UNLV got the cover. So 1-0.
Good pick.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
That is the motto to live by. And the second game, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic over 58. 2 touchdowns in the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I was ready to cash my ticket. Thought the game was over. Almost wanted to turn it off. 2 non-existent defenses. Quarterback of Charlotte, Chris Reynolds, gets hurt in the second quarter. FAU takes a commanding lead. They are up 26-7 at halftime, so feel good with the over. And then it turns into an absolute blowout. And 0. I think it was 0 points in the last 14 minutes and ends missing it by 4. So that was a loss, a pretty devastating loss, because the whole fourth quarter, like, all right, just break one, and that never happened. It was like a slow knife, and so I'm 1-1.
That is not acceptable. We are here to make people money. We talked last week.
Yeah.
About the soup kitchen. Do you remember working in the soup kitchen?
I do.
Giving the soup out and stuff. That's what we're doing. You're like the soup Nazi when you take a loss. You're like, no soup for you. Yeah. It's not acceptable. Remolards, we don't like ties. We don't wear ties. We don't like them. Weddings and funerals. And like even that. Those, it's, I don't even know if I'm wearing a tie to your wedding.
You better. Yes, you are. I'll answer that for you.
Let's get on the ball for
yes
next week. Because
you're not wrong. 1-1 is unacceptable. But I will say that was the definition of a right side, wrong result.
If I may say, can you talk about the first half?
The pick six?
Yes.
Yeah, we did have the first half as well and didn't give it out on here, but there was 17 seconds left, and Charlotte over under 30.5. It's at 26, pretty much dead. Final play of the half. Charlotte, backup quarterback, throws a pick six for us to hit the first half over. So that was nice. But
and I don't remember getting that call
didn't share
at all.
I apologize.
There was no sharing of that bit.
I wasn't going to say that.
But I did not need to hear that right now.
That was a last minute just to make ourselves feel better.
Right before kickoff, we're like, hey, let's do it. So, 1-1. We'll be better. And on that note, I'm going to go into my college football picks for this week. I feel pretty good. I have 6 picks. I will touch on them briefly. I will once again attach the write-ups if you want to dig deeper into these, and we'll put the image up for you so that you can see them. First one being 2 of them on Friday night, both massive spreads. Fresno State going to beat Cal Poly, favored by 36.5. Jake Haener, this is my boy. I think they're going to be unbelievable. He's incredible. They played him last year, beat him 63-10. It's going to be the exact same score. They have Oregon State and USC coming up. They're going to want to run it up, so make sure their offense is cooking. Fresno State. The other one, South Carolina State, catching 37.5 over UCF. Both of these are on Friday night. UCF brings in John Rice Plumlee, a wide receiver from Ole Miss, to run quarterback for them. So he's thrown 7 passes in the last 2 years. Think you're going to see some rust from him. South Carolina State beat Jackson State. The coach is
Deion
Sanders. Beat them in the HBCU Celebration Bowl. So they were the number 1 in their conference, and they're going to be a tough out. So catching that many points, I trust them. The other ones, which are on Saturday, I wore my Boston College shirt here for a reason, though I'm not taking them. I love them. I love the quarterback, Phil Jerkovich. Came over from Notre Dame. He got hurt last year. If Boston College, he's the best prospect since Matt Ryan. So if Boston College is going to do something, this is the year. The big issue is they're replacing all 5 offensive linemen. So that's a heavy ask. Both elite defenses. Everything you know about Boston College, strong defense. Everything you know about Rutgers, strong defense. Both offenses will struggle. So I am going the under of 48 in that game. And then 2 more games that I will touch on are, you got to have some stones if you want to play these 2. This is not for the faint of heart. Wyoming +7 over Tulsa. Anyone who watched Wyoming against Illinois, they look like a high school football team.
Yeah, it was very difficult to watch. Who did they play?
Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois. Oh my God, Illinois looked like Alabama playing against that team. It was brutal.
The quarterback threw the ball 20 times. He totaled 30 passing yards.
And you're taking Wyoming.
And I am. You got to have stones. You got to be able to buy low, sell high.
Who are they playing? Hawaii?
They're playing Tulsa. Tulsa lost to UC Davis last year, favored by 24. They lost to Navy, favored by 12. They're not very good, and they are on the road, and 9 of their games last year were finished by 1 score. So they don't blow teams out. They keep it close. Wyoming at home, after getting embarrassed like that, has to get up for this game. So Wyoming +7, home dog. We love home dogs on Rems Gems. That's one thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a game you can round robin them with a couple other big dogs. That's a big thing I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Take 2 or 3 teams that are 7-point dogs and above, round robin them together. So by 2s and 3s, make yourself some money.
Mm-hmm. I love that. All you have to do is hit 2 and you're going to profit pretty decent. So, yeah, we do that around NFL too. That'll be talked about next week. And lastly, UMass, my UMass Minutemen, the worst bottom 3 team in college football. 1-11 last year. Since jumping up to FBS, they are 20-93. Why are you taking them, Kyle? I'll tell you why.
Thank you.
I'll tell you why. Yeah. They brought back their head coach, Don Brown. Don Brown is a New England legend. He took Plymouth State to 2 undefeated seasons. Northeastern took them to their first FCS championship. Took UMass to its FCS championship in 2006. And then he has been just running the defensive guru across Michigan to Arizona over the last 12 years. And he's good. And UMass returns all of its production from last year. They're matching up with Tulane, who went 2-10 last year and catching almost 30 points. I believe in this guy. They call him Dr. Blitz. And that's what you do. When you are outmatched, you just bring pressure all the time. And the Tulane averaged 2 turnovers a game last year. So with Dr. Blitz coming at them, I think 30 is going to be enough. And I think that they'll keep it close. Last one, you can read more on this one if you'd like. William and Mary catching 6.5 versus Charlotte. Charlotte, we saw how bad that defense is. Hard to watch. Eyes were bleeding watching that defense against Florida Atlantic, yet it didn't go over. And the quarterback, Chris Reynolds, the only time that offense moved, he was at the helm, and he will be out this game. William and Mary, they run the ball 67% of the time, going against the worst rush defense in college football. I think they're going to win outright. Another one for that money line round robin play.
So how many picks is that?
So I gave out 6, 2 of them on Friday, and then 4 of them on Saturday. And I think one thing to note, these are all shit teams. These are all group of 5, UMass, Wyoming. There's a reason I do that, because I think there's more value in these low-level games, but you're going to win the same amount. Whether a ticket cashes on Alabama or UMass, you win the same amount, you know.
What was your takeaway on Hawaii? Because I'd never seen a worse team than that. And I'm like, Vandy's horrible.
Yep.
And Vandy destroyed them.
So we were looking at that game. It's always the game that you have to bet, the degenerate game. And we were looking at that, and Kyle texted me, Vanderbilt is so bad. And I'm like, they're laying 9.5, and I'm like, all right. To be honest with you, there was a local square that texted me. He's like, Hawaii. I was like, all right, Vanderbilt it is. So right after I made the bet, I see Hawaii go up 7-0. I'm like, I text Kyle, I'm like, I hate myself. And then I wake up in the morning, I see was it 62-10?
Yeah, they outscored.
And I'm like, Vandy's going all the way.
Yeah. They're the worst of the Power 5, Vanderbilt. But that shows you how bad Hawaii is. Everyone left the program in the offseason. People jump ship, and the transfer portal is a new weapon that we've never seen before. People leave, and they're instantly able to go play for another program. So Hawaii was bad. Wyoming was bad. Nevada was also bad. If you saw that game, they played New Mexico State, and they had New Mexico State coughed the football up 5 times and almost won still. And they are another team to keep an eye out for. I looked at the line for Nevada. They're playing Texas State this week, and the line moved the second it came out because they saw how bad Nevada was. So
let me ask you, Kyle, when you give out picks and this and that, you've been doing that for a while, which is great, but do you anticipate line moves? And when you give out these lines, can you kind of speak on that?
Yeah, it's a great point, because I'm not going to give out picks that are stale lines. So, for instance, if I had taken Nevada at -4 right when it opened, and then that game moves to them, -7, I'm not going to give out the -7. That's almost unfair to the people listening, because there's a chance I'm going to win and you're going to lose, and that's not what I want. So that's a good point. A lot of the line moves happen early in the week, that to the point that this podcast will be released, there shouldn't be any major line movements except for injuries or anything along that line. So
perfect.
It's a good point. Anything else college football week 1 related? I feel like this is the appetizer at a restaurant where we're getting the first course, but next week we'll have college football and NFL. That's the main course.
Yeah, week 0, 1-1. You're
Yeah.
just losing juice. We don't want to lose juice, but it's not going to kill your bank. So move on to bigger, better things.
Yeah. On that note, we will pass the baton over to you, Tom, Dad. Let's hear some NFL regular season win totals.
All right, we're going to make some money on these people. Now, this is, unlike Kyle's, this is a little long-term proposition, but these will win. There's 5 picks I have for you, and I love them all. I have under on Seattle Seahawks, 5.5. They have a coach that's 70 years old. He's past his prime. He's lost his fastball. The team is in total rebuild mode. He just named Geno Smith quarterback. Geno Smith. Geno Smith, I don't think, would be a number 2 on any other team in the league, and he's starting. Geno Smith. I just think that says it all. Geno Smith.
Okay.
So I all right, enough on them. This next one, people, I've made a lot of money on the Patriots through the years, the Brady train. So I usually always take the over, winning the division, blah, blah, blah. But it's been nothing but manure up there. It's with the no offensive coordinators. He's taken a step back. Last year in the preseason practice, when Cam Newton went down with COVID, and he had that spectacular practice where he was 35 for 40, the same defensive coach is now coaching the Raiders, and this week he went 13 for 27 on 7-on-7 drills.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones,
Yep.
7-on-7. Maybe 2 against the Jets, and everything else I think is going to be a struggle. I'm down on the Pats heavy.
I also am down on him, and I will say to that story you just told, the 7-on-7s, I saw Derek Carr's numbers, and I think he was 28 for 30. That's
Against the Pats defense,
It's pitch.
yeah.
Well, not only the defense, but that's pitch and catch.
Right.
7-on-7.
Right. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying. It's,
Yeah.
my next one is Jets under 5.5. And like I said, I'm usually an over guy on these plays. So for me to take unders, 3 unders, actually I have 4, but I think the Jets are trending in the right direction. I'm not sure on their quarterback yet. We'll find out this year. But they might be a year away from being a year away. Because I just love their draft this year. I love the talent they're bringing in. And that's another thing about the Patriots. Who are they bringing in? It's like, I've
Feels like a ghost town.
It does.
Yeah. Frustrating, too.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
My next pick might be going to the Super Bowl. The Chargers. I have over 10. Tough division. Herbert, I just love him. The kid's have you seen him since any of the preseason? He's put on, he looks
Awesome.
like me with his shirt off. He's just, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's put on quite a few. He's ready to rock and roll. I can see a monster year out of him. And their defense is stacked too. And I know their division is loaded, but they're gonna get you over 10. And my last one is under on the Cowboys. Under 10. They lost the left tackle. Ezekiel Elliott's like, he's running to the lunchroom. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see them getting to 10. I like Philly a lot in that division. A lot. I see them getting maybe 4 in their division, but I don't know where the other 6 are coming from. So that's all I got on my.
So you love all of them.
Love them, folks. And unlike Kyle's 1-1, it's a little longer term prep, but you'll get 5 wins.
Is it a Remillard guarantee that
Oh,
4-1 minimum?
Oh, no.
5.
5.
Okay. Well, we will play this back.
I'll be here.
Couple months
I'll
from
be
now.
cashing tickets, showing you, and
I hope
we'll be
so.
good. We'll be good.
I will say, me and this guy usually see opposite ends of the spectrum, so I do not agree with those picks.
Yeah, and as I mentioned about our betting style, I would say I'm not. You are the eye test. You're the eye test. You follow what you see.
Exactly.
That's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. Reed is Mr. Contrarian. He goes against what everyone says and what he sees. To be honest,
Right.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. How
As
would you-
much as I see, but I mean, that 80-20 rule is big in my head. If you get 80% of the action on one side, I know a lot of people know this, but 100% I'm taking the other side. There's no way about it. And there'll be a lot of times when, even when you look on the DraftKings or the Superbook or the Circuit contest, when you see a pick that has 80% of the action on it, there's a good chance that pick's going to lose.
Yeah.
No, I've come around on that, but I just try to stay away from that game.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my eyes just can't.
Those are always the trap games. They're tough. And lastly, my betting style, sharp as a samurai sword. Just absolute late razor sharp.
No soup for you.
1-1. 1-1, not worried. A couple notes that I have on those picks. Things that just keep in mind. Pats and Jets play each other twice. Yeah. That's 2 wins for one of them, or 1-1. That's one thing that is a little bit scary to me. Seahawks, they got 2 stud receivers. They might just say, Geno, throw it up deep and hope he comes down with it, because Metcalf's a monster.
Oh, I get you, but
yeah, that is a concern. Lastly, the Chargers, love them as well. That's my squad, and I think they're down to 14-1 to win the Super Bowl, top five odds. And I saw a bet today on DraftKings of Justin Herbert to win MVP and the Chargers to win the Super Bowl. What would you say those odds are?
I'd say 25-1.
Yeah. I think it's realistic, no?
I'd say 50-1.
Yeah, because it's tough. Already 14-1 plus, that 100-1.
Yeah, it's
not bad,
It's worth a little piece of money.
If he wins MVP, they're in the playoffs.
Right.
And then at that point, hedging opportunities, and I just think that is there's some value there.
What are the Chargers to win the whole thing?
I think 14-1, around that range, 15 or lower.
Okay, wow, 100, that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good value.
Yeah, we're getting, long shot, but that's why we're here.
That's right.
Something I might be dabbling in. Last thing that I have was a pretty monster parlay. We talked about our long shot round robin odds, and we always love playing these long shots. Low risk, high reward. That Bears-Packers ticket we talked about last week, it's worth it. Well, the story that we saw, a guy on FanDuel, he put a bet on who's the golfer, Will Zalatoris, who got hurt with the back pain, $13 bet. FanDuel was friendly and refunded all of those bets for anyone who had him. So he has $13. The bet's expiring on Sunday, and he's like, I got to do it. He takes 4 massive long shots to get top 10 in the NASCAR race. All of them hit. $13 free bet paid $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So any of those free bets that you do, why not? I did one. I had a $10 free bet. I took girl to win the U.S. Open right now and parlayed it with the Chargers. $10 free bet pays $8,000. It's like, hey, if she wins that tournament 40-1, then I got Chargers for $8,000. So I would highly suggest, as the season approaches, these sports books will be giving away free money in crazy promotions, any deposit bonus, any match bonus, everything. So take a shot on those free bets, because you got nothing to lose, and it's worth it.
I was gonna say something that kind of relative to the NFL for long shots like that is the first touchdown prop.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Kyle are big on those. We'll take you can do round robins or just parlays on player to score the first touchdown, and you'll get, say Kansas City's playing Chargers, you can always get like Keenan Allen at like 12-15-1, because one, it's hard enough to score the first touchdown, and they have to get the first one. So it is difficult to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But we've hit a few good ones. Last year I would always take Myles Gaskin, the running back for Dolphins, was always like 15-20-1. He got it like twice, but it adds up. Parlay on.
If I'm taking the Chargers, I'm taking Mike Williams on the bomb.
Yeah, but you're saying first touchdown futures? Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely.
Keenan's more possession.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Fair.
And it's valid. I think that is something we would always do, and that's another round robin situation where you want to bet $3 to win a couple thousand. That's your opportunity. Yep. And when you have red zone on, and just you see that they scored a touchdown because he spoils it, and you're like, come on, Keenan Allen. Oh, it makes it fun. So, that's. You guys have any other topics you want to bring up, or?
Oh, you got me going with red zone, because that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Red Zone.
You should be a sponsor for Red Zone.
Yeah, we got on there. Shelby and I got on
That's
there.
right,
Yeah,
last
might need
year.
to put
That
that
was-
picture
yeah, you gotta
up
get
on
that
here.
pic out.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was
Halloween.
awesome.
We were the witching hour. Shelby was a witch and I was a clock, but
Yeah.
he got on there.
Yeah,
It
it
was, that was
So
fun.
funny story about that. I remember when that came up, LeBron James like tweeted watching Red Zone. I was like, oh, LeBron saw Kyle.
Yep, we're basically friends now. So, but that's it. Episode 2. Appreciate everyone listening and looking forward to making some money. Week 1 college football finally, and we will see you next week for NFL. Can't wait.
Thank you.
Thank you.